Quick update. I had a problem with my previous, let's see, I didn't delid, but I experimented with conductonaut liquid metal on the IHS, between the IHS and the monoblock. It didn't present a problem per se. The only reason why I experimented with that was because I was seeing, higher than normal temperatures on the CPU. And I can't remember if it was before or after doing that, because I haven't done any kind of like Prime 95, IDA 64, OCCT stress testing in years. But to my dismay, when I tried Prime 95, I had two or actually it was OCCT. Within just a span of 2 minutes, I had two cores that were like, I'm not kidding, 85, 90 degrees. And the others were like 60, 65. So I have pictures. I should have recorded a video of before, but I have I ordered a Bits Power nickel plated copper IHS, and I intended to delid. So I got the Rocket Cool 88 delid relid tool. Awesome. I got some. It's a fantastic tool. I got it used from Amazon. 24 bucks. Oh my god, very nice. Apparently, deliding with liquid metal doesn't last forever, because I initially had this delided in the fall of 2017, and I had it installed in November of 2017. I put it in November 2017, and the temps were fantastic back then. But then I guess over time, I don't know what happened, but my temps started to creep up, and they became pretty bad, like 85 degrees. Anyhow, I got it back in now. And man, you guys got to see these temps. So I got to preface this by saying that I'm running liquid metal between the CPU die and the IHS, and between the IHS and the monoblock. And when I did this, I was like, I didn't know what the cause of the disparity in temperatures was, and I was concerned that maybe the monoblock was not mounting evenly on the CPU die, because it does come into contact with two banks of VRM. That was one of my concerns. And that maybe it was canted somehow, and maybe that the liquid metal was just exacerbating that, whereas Tim, because it's thicker, would kind of even that out and smooth it out. Well, you guys got to check out these temps, dude. This is IDA 64, right? This is IDA 64, stress tests on the stress cache, stress system memory, stress CPU, and I'm running it at 5.1 gigahertz, 0 AVX. I'm running 40, is it showing up? Uncore should be showing up. I don't know why Uncore isn't showing up, but Uncore is at 43 times, and just look at these temperatures. Jesus Christ, dude, that's full load. 55 degrees. Here's my peaks: 56, 58. This is 8700K at 5.1 gigahertz at 1.375 volt. V-Core, and I got VCCIO and VCCSA at 1.2 volt. There's V-Core there. Right? And, oh, I also added some water sensors too. So the EC Temp 1 System 2, that's a new water sensor I got on the distro plate, and I have another water sensor that I've added to the GPU. And I don't know, this is my first time using IDA 64. So, I guess we're going on 10 minutes here, elapsed time. OCCT, I got an error really quickly. So, I think OCCT is asking for more voltage. Prime 95, I don't get any errors. I can run Prime 95 for 20 minutes. OCCT is kind of particular. But, I fucking can't believe that. Look at this. It's 100% CPU usage. Okay? I'm just blown away. I mean, whoa! Temps in the high 40s, mid 50s, and they peak in like the mid to high 50s. So I'm just I'm super happy, because, oh my god, I was stressed out, because I was like, when I had it all apart, and I after deliding it, and I was reliding it. After reliding it, I was contemplating, should I just throw cryonaut, on the IHS? In between the IHS and monoblock, to rule that out. And I had the residual liquid metal from the previous application still on the monoblock, and I'm like, fuck it. I just put it on the bits power. What I think another possibility was, I think a few things. I think one thing for sure would be the I guess the delid. I had it delided initially or originally by Silicon Lottery, and they bend and delided it, and they bend it at 5 gigahertz -1 or -2 AVX at 1.412 volt, which I thought was extremely high. And I don't know if it's because I have really cool VRM temperatures, which is allowing me to get away with much more than that. Because VRM temps on this motherboard are a problem. VRM temps on this motherboard are like, people are complaining about 90 degrees. Der Bauer did a review of this motherboard, and he said 90 degrees is acceptable. Here it is, VRM MOSFET. Currently 35 degrees, peaked at 36. But yeah, I am stoked. This is going to be. Oh, I got new cable combs too. I know a lot of people complain. They said you got to put some combs on those GPU cables, so I got some new cable combs. It still looks raggedy in the back there. There's nothing I can do about it. But I also straightened out these two runs here. These two runs here were running kind of crooked in relation to the rest of the runs. The rest of the runs are fairly parallel, you know, with the system. And then I had these two runs previously were like that that run there, that was like I think a 15 millimeter height 90 degree angle fitting, and now it's I think it's a 10 millimeter, so that dropped 5 millimeters, and this was also 15. I had two 15s, and I needed to bring the runs down so that they're flush with the rest of the run, so I changed out those fittings. And here's the water temp sensor there. You can see the wire coming out of that, and it's, oh, I guess I got some oil on my camera lens, because it shouldn't be, the light shouldn't be artifacting to that degree. I replaced that 90 millimeter fan in the back with a Be Quiet, and currently it's set to go off by EC Temp 2, which I haven't messed with yet, because I just wanted to check my CPU temperatures, because I was really worried that the problem was that I was using liquid metal between the IHS and the monoblock, but that's not the problem. Oh my god, I haven't seen temps this good before. I mean, mid 50s, 8700K at 5.1 gigahertz at 1.375 volt, and you're in the mid 50s peak. This is outrageous. You want to see how warm it is here? Look, I'm wearing shorts. Okay, I'm wearing shorts. Here's ambient. That's ambient. It's room temperature. It's not like I'm in a sweater with, you know, wool socks on. This is. I mean, it's not hot in here. It's room temperature. It's cool. I would say it's cooler than, a little bit cooler than room temperature. So it feels like. Look at these temps. I just can't believe this. I can exit out of here. I kind of want to. Prime 95 is the same thing. Prime 95 is like, yeah, 55 degrees. I could exit out of here, but I kind of want to see how long it can run. IDA 64 stress test, stability test, because I guess there's some criticism of Prime 95 in terms of using Prime 95 as a stress test, and I can't remember exactly what it was. There was a long-winded Reddit thread made about it that I intend to read. Very technical, but people are saying to stop using Prime 95 to stress test. So I figured I'd do IDA 64. OCCT, it fails basically nearly immediately, and that's telling me that it needs more vCore. The issue that I have is that I'm not using this computer for productivity, and I never see this kind of usage. I never see 100% usage, and for me, like, if it passes Prime 95 small FFT or blend for 20 minutes, that's stable in my book, because then I will, like, basically never get a blue screen in a game. And I don't need it to be OCCT 24-hour stress test stable. I've been doing this for like 10 years now, and I find that Prime 95, if it makes it through 20 minutes of Prime 95, you're pretty much not going to get a blue screen in a game. Anyhow, that's going to be part one of this update. I will update as I go along. And oh, also, I swapped from Gila GC Extreme to Cryonaut in the GPU, and it did 39C max in superposition with this ambient, which is an improvement. I'll update as I go along. Thanks for watching. To my last update. So here's Prime 95, and something happens around the 18-minute mark where Yeah, the temps aren't 50 degrees anymore. They've actually got up to the high 60s. But I'm happy now because I don't have any cores that are like 20 degrees higher than the others like I was dealing with previously. But check out the power, dude. 188 watt. It was at 200 watt a moment ago. That's a hot, yeah, 200 watts, 8700K. We'll see if it doesn't blue screen to death right here while I'm recording this. Yeah, temps got up there, but that's still pretty good for room temperature ambient. Temps in the high 60s, that's pretty good for 5.1 gigahertz at this amount of voltage, 1.375 volt. This is a gigabyte motherboard, and I have LLC set to turbo. So it's one step below the highest. Highest is extreme. I think LLC a turbo. This might be a little bit over 1.4 volt with that much LLC, to be honest with you. This might actually be like 1.425 volt, factoring for LLC, but not sure. If it's stable here at like half an hour, I may try to dial back the voltage another 10 millivolts and try 1.365 volt. I wasn't able to get away with this when I first put the system together, and I had the older memory. I was running a G-Skill Trident Z 3200 megahertz, just the normal one, and I recently upgraded the memory to 2x16. So it's two 16 gigabit modules, and they're Royals, the Trident Z Royals. And these ones run at 3600 megahertz. They have almost the same timings. So it's like I just doubled the capacity and I picked up 400 megahertz in the memory. Yeah, these Royals are really nice. Yeah, really nice. Love these Royals. And ever since I got this memory, and I did increase VCCIO and VCCSA, the auxiliary voltages from 1.15 to 1.2 volt respectively. Or actually for both of them. And what else? Yeah, I'm running a little bit more vCore. Before I was running 1.342 for 5 gigahertz. I forgot to point this out in this last video. That's the other water temp sensor right in there on the distro plate. Yeah, I'm still trying to bleed out air. It's a slow and painful process. Well, it's not painful. Actually, it doesn't sound that bad. These two D5s at full speed, at full bore, they don't sound very loud. Here, I'll let you listen. Oh. You have a lot of bubble noise and aeration noise, but in terms of just the pump hum, that's pretty good for 100% RPM, two D5s. And I've replaced this fan. I ordered a new noise blocker. What is it? It's the PWM version of their 110 millimeter fan, because the other one was cracked on one side, and it was partly an aesthetic issue, but partly I just wanted to have another fan on hand in case one of these fails, because these fans are 6 years old. It's crazy. So that's pretty much it for the upgrades for now. I'll probably run it like this until Intel and AMD offer a CPU that's a meaningful upgrade. I just watched Gamers Nexus do a 10600K versus 10900K review, and 10600K at 5.1 gigahertz. I mean, it's only slightly trailing 10900K in games, and we're talking about the games are running at. Oh, did I get a black screen? What happened here? Uh-oh. Oh no, didn't get a black screen. That's just the screensaver, or the. Yeah. So 10600K at 5.1 gigahertz, basically because there's been no IPC improvement with Ice Lake versus Coffee Lake Refresh, and this is Coffee Lake. It's just still 14 nanometer. Basically, 8700K is basically 10900K or 10600K. I could leave a link to the Gamers Nexus 10600K review, but I just I'm not. What's the point? What's the point? You know. And well, I'm actually happy. That means I get more money out of my system, and I love the aesthetics of the system, anyways. 190 watts pegged, and those are the temps there. Yeah, mid to high 60s. I got one core peaking at 70, but I'm really happy that the spread isn't what it was before. That's not a bad spread. That's like what, 67, 65, 68, 69, 65, 70. I see a 5 degree at most spread. That's pretty good. And let's see, let's check out the MOSFET. The VRM MOSFET on this board, like I was saying in my last segment, 90 degrees is commonplace for Gigabyte Z370 RS Gaming 7, but here's where I'm at with the monoblock. Oh, it is at 50 degrees. Oh, that's different. I normally see like no more than 43 degrees on a VRM MOSFET. I might have to try to tighten on the screws. Or it could just be because CPU's got so much power running through it. But I typically don't see more than 43 degrees, where I haven't. 50 degrees is like the highest I've ever seen for a VRM MOSFET. But that's still good, because normally it's like 90 to 100 degrees. So the monoblock's still working. That's a bit higher than I'm used to seeing. And I wonder why that is, actually. It could be because I'm running more voltage and I'm running more auxiliary voltages too. And ambient's higher. It is room temperature. 1.375 volt. VCCIO is 1.177 there. 190 watt. There's the memory. Memory modules run pretty good. 48, 50 degree peak. Water temperature. Actually, I can give you guys water temperature if you want to see that. Water temperature right now, 27 degrees. EC temp 1, system 2, that's water temp. Yep. Okay, I'll update as I go along. I'll let you guys know my findings, let you know if it was stable, if it makes it for half an hour, Prime 95, but it might. It's only got 4 more minutes. It might make it. We'll see if it blue screens. If it doesn't, then I'm going to consider this stable. I might even try this same Freak at 1.365 volt. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'm happy, man. I'm happy. I was worried that yeah, I was worried that the problem with the 2 cores, but it was bad. Like last time I ran Prime 95, I had like basically I had 2 cores. Like we're doing like, oh geez, I had like 60 degrees average. I didn't do more than 15 minutes. I guess around the 18-minute mark, Prime 95 really ups the power. I don't know, it just does something weird around the 18-minute mark. But I had 2 cores that were like literally 25 degrees hotter than the other 2 than the other 4. Like the other 4 would be 60 degrees, and I had 2 cores that were like 85 degrees. It was insane, and I was worried that it was because it was the liquid metal between the IHS and the monoblock. And so I took a gamble. I remember when I had this, and I was like, should I just put the cryonaut on here, because I was really worried. And this, it's not, you know, when you get liquid cooling like this, I mean, it's not that, now that I've done this like 10 times now, it's not that difficult, but it's a little bit more complicated than just pulling an air cooler off. Like I got to drain the loop, I got to, you know, disconnect that, you know, disconnect all the power. It's not that hard though. It's easier than it looks. Anyhow, I'll update. I'll do probably another segment with it all buttoned up. And oh, I intend to do Port Royal stress test, and I want to see the temps with the cryonaut versus the G-Lid GC Extreme. So I'm tempted to see what that looks like. All right, I'll update this as I go along. Thanks for watching. Prime 95 again, and ambience a little bit cooler. It's now a few hours have gone by, and ambience dropped a little bit. Now it's 71 degrees. And I'm running Prime 95 again. It made it like 40 minutes the last time. I didn't get a blue screen or anything. I just terminated the test. Like usually if it makes it 20 minutes, that's like stable enough in my book. So I decided to reduce the V core by 10 millivolt, and so now it's 1.364. I guess LLC can barely keep up certain parts of Prime 95 small FFT, because that actually was at 1.353. Like, you see the average there. I reset HWinfo when I started the test, so you see the average is 1.356. It's the first time I've seen it at 1.364, which is interesting, because normally it's at 1.353. But yeah, that's with turbo load line calibration on a gigabyte motherboard, so it's one step down from the highest. And I think, if I remember correctly, that's like 500 millivolts lower than actual, I believe. So it might be a little bit over 1.4 volt. But I'm kind of happy with this, because we're going on half an hour. Usually if it makes it half an hour, Prime 95 small FFT, that's like 99.99% stable if all you're using the computer for is gaming. Temps are a little bit better than the last time. Hasn't broken 70 degrees yet. And that's a pretty tight spread too. Like, I don't have any cores that are like, 10, 15, 20 degrees higher this time around. And I went ahead and found Uncore, so I could show everyone I'm running 43 times Uncore. This is 0 AVX, so it's 5.1 gigahertz, 0 AVX. Yeah. Vera MOSFET's a little bit cooler this time around. Yeah, that drop in ambient made a big difference. Yeah, it was 74 degrees earlier, and that 50 degrees on the MOSFET was a little bit higher than I've ever seen. So I think I want to terminate this test soon and just call this 99.99% stable for me. Yeah. Let's see if there's any Windows errors. Oh. 0 total error. I really don't get any total errors. I'm actually really happy with this, because I was able to dial back the voltage. I'll run it like this for like a week or two, and if I don't get any blue screens in gaming, what I will do then is I'll go in and I'll dial back VCCIO and VCCSA from 1.2 to 1.177 as it's displayed there. I'll dial that back by to 1.175 volt. I'll start with that and see how stable it is. I'm not going to push for 5.2 gigahertz, I don't think. I was told that you pretty much don't want to run more than 1.35 volt with this much LLC and that much amperage. You see the current I out. There's some math that needs to be done, and it involves multiplying that by something else. And someone was helping me over on overclock.net, and we came to the conclusion that with this much LLC, you don't really want to run more than 1.35 volt. So I'm pushing it here. The thing is that it's only now doing 1.364 volt. It was at 1.353 up until I just started recording this. So like 25 out of 30 minutes, it was actually at 1.353 for Prime 95. But I know in gaming that'll actually be 1.364 volt. But that's much better than it was. When I first was trying for 5100 megahertz, I actually was a little bit more V-core than that. But anyways, I'm happy with it. And yeah, I'll update as I go along. Thank you for watching. Bye. Alright, so to conclude the video, offer up some parting thoughts. I'm just really happy with the way this turned out. I mean, so many things can go wrong. I pressure tested, of course, before putting it all back together. EK leak tester is just absolutely proved invaluable. That thing is just absolutely amazing. I recommend it for anybody who's going to do any kind of hard tubing. Soft tubing, there's not so much of a risk of a leak, because it's like the fittings, the way that the fittings fit on the tubing, it's very secure. But with a hard tubing, oh man, it's just if you're gonna get into hard tubing, I recommend the EK leak tester. There's other, you don't have to go with EK's leak tester. There's other ones too. Let's see a few of the things. It wasn't stable at 5.1 gigahertz at 1.353 to 1.364 volt. I had to increase the voltage by 10 millivolts. I got a blue screen last night. It's weird. Like it can do Prime 95. AVX instruction set small FFT for like 40 minutes, no problem. And then out of the blue, I can't remember what I was doing. It was like something just fairly pedestrian, like within Windows, and just random blue screen out of the blue. But that was the first one that I've gotten in like the last 2 weeks at 5.1 gigahertz zero AVX. And that was the first time I've also reduced the voltage down to 1.353, 1.364. It tended to fluctuate between there. Yeah, I've also set up the pumps to come on with the water temp sensor data. So they get the 2 water temp sensors, one right there in the distribution plate and another one in the GPU here. And I have them set to, I'll get into that in a second. I have the pumps set to go into 100% when water temp reaches 32 degrees Celsius. And up until this morning, like, actually the pumps have yet to kick on, even with like 70 degrees, 71 degrees ambient Fahrenheit. The pumps have yet to kick on, so water temp is around 30 degrees, and this is while mining crypto on NiceHash at 150 watts on the 2080 Ti, so, you know, 50% power target. I just basically mine on NiceHash just basically to subsidize my heating bill, because you don't make hardly anything doing it, but it's just a way to basically heat up the living room is nearly for free. But yeah, crypto is kind of not faring so well right now. Let's see what else. Let's see. Here's how it sounds at 40% RPM. And I got the cable combs on there. I got these from AliExpress. They work okay, but I might get some new ones. I'm just really happy with the way everything turned out, and I'm happy that I managed to straighten out these runs here. Before, when I was running just the 50mm 90-degree angle fittings, both of those runs were they were not parallel with the runs on the top. So that's nice. I got the water temp sensors in. I fixed that, or I replaced that noise blocker fan up there, and I have a replacement 140mm fan coming. I'm going to go with the Noctua Chromex NFA14, I want to say. It's supposedly, it's got, they have some, it's very quiet, apparently. Like, it's even quieter than like the Be Quiet 140mm. I'm running the Be Quiet 90mm in the bottom. But yeah, as you can tell, I'm running rad fans as intake. As exhaust out of the case. And I have some testing. If you check my channel, you go back about 4 or 5 videos, I have some testing where, at least in this case, at least in the Thermaltake View 71, against conventional wisdom, I believe it's because this case doesn't do positive pressure very well. That's my understanding. But in a case that's more buttoned up, you'll probably get better temperatures, bringing the heat into your case. But very surprising results in terms of that Sabrent 2 terabyte rocket, which is normally up here. Long story short, I basically, I had a blue screen while playing Metro Exodus, and I had to reinstall, nearly had to reinstall Windows. If it was. If it wasn't for me still having like a month-old instance of Windows 10 on the drive that drive replaced, just a 500 gigabyte Samsung 850 EVO, I would have had to have reinstalled Windows. So out of just sheer luck, I had that drive just chilling, just sitting in the back here, back behind the motherboard tray, and I was able to get back in. But I had so much games on there. I'm trying to whittle down like just files on my other drives to make space, because I need to get all of the. I have like I still have about 800 gigabytes of space I need to make. Once I get everything off of this drive, then I will basically make that my boot drive, because it is a bit faster. It's NVMe, M.2 NVMe, and I think the read and write speed. Oh man, This thing is basically as fast as a 970 Evo, and it's half the price. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I highly recommend this drive. Sabrent 2 terabyte rocket. Love this drive. But the temps on that drive, when I had all the when I experimented with the Radfans as intake, and I was pumping the heat into my case. Oh, dude, if I remember correctly, it was like 20 degrees higher on that drive, and my memory temps were like 15, 20 degrees higher. Anyhow, that was not the point of this video. I've already gone over all this. The point of this video is I wanted to wrap up. Very happy with the liquid metal. I was apprehensive. I was worried that the liquid metal was actually the problem, because I had a disparity in temperatures across the cores. I had 2 cores that were like 25 degrees higher than the other, and that's been resolved. So that wasn't the issue. The issue was the original delid had expired. The delid from Silicon Laundry from 2017. But I wanted to share some more data with you guys. Oh, that's right. And I'll show you guys how that Bits Power IHS looks, the integrated heatsink from Bits Power. This year's Fire Strike, you know, Fire Strike is meaningless because it makes 2080 Ti look less impressive than it is, because you only see like a 25% increase here in graphics over 1080 Ti. Meanwhile, I'm not kidding, like easily 40% increase in Witcher 3. Red Dead Redemption 2 is easily 50% faster than 1080 Ti. So this isn't a fair benchmark. I would say a better benchmark would be TimeSpy, where you see graphics go from like 10,000. Like I have my 1080 Ti graphics score in TimeSpy is, I'm not kidding, like 10,500. So you see like a 50-60% increase in TimeSpy. I think Fire Strike is finally getting too old to be relevant. But the data here I want to share with you guys. Like here's my CPU loads in Fire Strike. You can see on the right column there, it's maximum. And down here, water temps were, let's see if I can find it really quickly. EC temp 1, 28 degrees. And then I have EC temp 2 down here, which is, I believe, the hotter one is going to be the temp sensor that's on the GPU. I'm only seeing a 1 degree temp difference. So it is true that it doesn't matter. Loop order basically doesn't matter, because I'm only seeing like a 1 degree difference at 100% pump speed. But when I'm mining crypto, when both those D5s are 40%, I actually see a 2 degree difference in temps. So the water is actually 2 degrees warmer with the lower pump speed coming out of the GPU by 2 degrees. Here's TimeSpy temps, and oh yeah, here's the score. This isn't my best score. I've actually had a little bit higher score, but I gotta wrap this up soon because running out of, oh yeah. Here's 4K optimized. You guys can pause it. 40 degrees on the core. This is all with 66 degrees Fahrenheit ambient. That's the Bits Power IHS. All right, I gotta wrap this up because I'm at the 10-minute limit. Samsung Galaxy S7. I hate this feature. I don't know why it limits the videos to 10 minutes. Well, I might redo it because I wanted to issue up a few other thoughts. Hold on, let me pause. Okay. Yeah, here's the Bits Power IHS. Very nice. And I believe that this Bits Power IHS is only like 20 bucks, believe it or not. I couldn't believe it. It has a mirror finish. It's basically nickel-plated chrome. And I'm running Conductonaut on both the both sides of it. So I'm running liquid metal between the CPU die and the IHS and the monoblock. Love the Trident Z Royals. They look very nice even with RGB off. Believe it or not, I believe this is the reason why I have like newfound stability, because I wasn't able to secure 5.1 gigahertz with any voltage in dynamic, because I'm running dynamic offset. I think that's it. Okay. Yes, wallpaper engine. This thing's so cool. Oh, yeah, what else? Oh, the temps are absolutely amazing. As you guys can see from this video, I'm watching, like, so on YouTube, there's someone I follow who's a bang for buck gamer. See if I can find it. And like his temps, like, they're not that impressive. I mean, no, they're impressive. They're impressive for. I mean, because, dude, 8700K with just the factory IHS and like without delidding, it's super hot. But this is bang for buck gamer, right? And he's gonna show how like the improvement he's seen with Conductonaut. Actually, I'm curious to see what he's running. Okay, he's got soft tubing. What does he got? Z370. So same chipset. He's probably just got what? He's got soft tubing. What kind of radiator has he got? I can't tell. Let's see what he says.
Using a 360mm rad, which is about 65 millimeters thick, so great cooling.
Okay, so he's saying he's got a 360 by 65 millimeter. That's basically half of what I have. Because my XE360, my EK XE360 in the front is a 360 by 60 millimeter. So he's got basically half the rad surface area. That explains a lot right there. And he's probably not running liquid metal between the IHS and his block. But I keep hearing how monoblocks suck. I'm over on overclock.net and everyone says, oh, monoblocks are garbage. I've gotten this comment quite a few times. Well, okay, here's his CPU block. Let's see how his CPU block compares to my monoblock. So stock on the left, right? Let me increase the resolution. Stock on the left, and he's got overclocked on the right. I'll just leave a link to this in below. Oh, and he's IDA 64. If you like, I'm gonna have my. You'll see my IDA 64 temps. They don't get out of. They're like in the mid 50s. So one thing you got to keep in mind with this comparison is his CPU is only like at 120 watts. And he's like at 75 degrees. It gets up to 70 degrees at some point. IDA 64 isn't really it doesn't induce the same kind of load as Prime 95 small FFT. But he's only at 120 watt. He's like 50% less power going through the chip, and he's got higher temps. So let's see. But it's still impressive because look, stock on the left. Stock on the left is
liquid metal installed. So let's see the difference in temps, and let's see if it was worth it.
I'm just going to mute it. So on the left-hand side, you can see he's delidded, single 360 rad. That's stock. So you got 80 degrees max, 84 degrees. That's stock. I believe that's 8700K at 5.1 gigahertz, 82, 84. Here's his delid, right? 64, 65, 65. This is only 6 minutes into the thing, right? But this is IDA 64. If you look at power draw, it's like hardly anything. Let's see if we can see the power draw. Where's the power draw? Oh. Okay, you can see power right in there, actually. 115 watt, 120 watt. Okay, at 66 degrees. If I remember correctly, I can go look at the footage, but when I ran IDA 64, I was like 50, 55 degrees. Same with Prime 95. If I run Prime 95, my temps are in the high 40s to mid 50s with that same kind of TDP. 115 watt, that's nothing, right? So that's just that. He's going to show us 5.3 gigahertz. I don't know how he gets away with this. I don't know how much voltage he's running. Is it going to show on CPU-Z how much voltage he's running? Oh, I don't really see it. Oh. Anyhow, not bad. 71 degrees, but this is IDA 64. It's not Prime 95. And you can see the power there is only like 130 watts. I just wanted to show this as a comparison to like, so I'm at least 10 degrees cooler than just like a typical delid. And part of that's the fact that I'm running I have a lot of radiator surface area, but the other half of it is that I'm running liquid metal between the IHS and the cooling solution. Some other parting thoughts. Isn't this just the coolest wallpaper engine? I like this one. One thing about wallpaper engine, which I've realized, is that you have to like constantly, like periodically every week or so, go and look and see what papers they have. Because you can't find this one now. It's like they just come and go. So periodically, every week or so, I go and have a look at Wallpaper Engine. Parting thoughts. What games have I been playing lately? Oh man, I managed to get. There's been an update to the Wii U or the Wii emulator, Simu, and I've been playing. Well, it took like nearly all of a day because I had to. It was a pain in the ass. I had to try to update Zelda Breath of the Wild over USB helper, and I had multiple instances of Breath of the Wild, and then there were files that I couldn't use. It took me like half of a day to get it working, but I finally got Breath of the Wild running on Simu 19.2. And 19.2 is interesting because with NVIDIA driver 433.15, there's a Vulkan 1.2 API, which it basically allows for, with Simu 19.2, you no longer need a shader cache. So there's no... Before, when you use Simu, you had to go and download someone else's shader cache. Otherwise, you'd have like periodic, like very frequent, like the game would basically freeze altogether, like periodic freezing. That's the thing of the past now. And I've also, I'm running Pascal Glitcher's ray tracing reshade. And it's amazing. It's like people say that's fake ray tracing. It's actually real ray tracing, but it doesn't use RT cores on like an NVIDIA Turing card. So you don't need a Turing architecture NVIDIA card to use it. You got to donate $5. But Breath of the Wild with the ray tracing, it's amazing, and the performance is still really decent. Like I'm at like 75%. 75 FPS at 3440 by 1440, smooth as butter with G-Sync. I intend to record today. I'm going to play a little bit today. I'm going to record and I'm going to upload it to YouTube. But it looks stunning with the ray tracing, and it runs very smooth. I'm happy that I had so many other games to play that I put this off for so long. I got so many things going on. Oh, I also wanted to say, you guys may have seen this, and I don't know if I mentioned this. This is the monitor that I switch to occasionally because I'm still a 3D vision enthusiast. This is Asus ROG Swift PG278Q, and I still use this, and I'm still a 3D vision enthusiast, as you can tell by the glasses over here. Yeah, I love 3D vision. Witcher 3 and Devil May Cry 5 and Resident Evil 2 Remake just look absolutely... I mean, honestly, it looks better in flat 16:9 in 3D than it does in curved ultrawide. The 3D is so good. I'm just so sad that it died. What else? Oh, I got about a minute, so I'll wrap this up. My Valve Index pre-order came through, so I'm really happy about that. That's coming in. I got to figure out how to mount the base stations because you want them no more than, I think, 15 or 16 feet apart. And I'm like, how am I going to put one in that corner so I can use it while playing a racing game and have the other one? I think this is like 20 feet, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to put this in here. I'm actually have to figure something out. But I got Valve Index. I was able to pre-order that finally. COVID-19 created a kind of like a supply chain delay with the Index becoming available. Really happy. So the last like 3 days have been awesome. I got Zelda Breath of the Wild running and looking amazing. I fixed my computer temp problem, and I got Valve Index on the way. Anyhow, like and subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. I got more content coming. Thanks for watching.